habits are typically uncontrollable unless an inner force of will acts upon that habit. So it's kind of like an inertia effect where you keep on doing this thing until a greater force acts upon it. So it's like the same exact concept there. And so what is that? What is that force that has to act on it? That's your will. That's your volition. That's your conscious desires to reach something a little bit greater than what you have at this present moment. And like kind of just talking about some of those prior concepts that we've hit in earlier episodes, we know that when you have to like volitionally go in and take yourself out of the automatic mode, out of the habitual mode, that takes a lot of willpower, and that's very challenging to do. It's very uncomfortable. And so I think that's like what a psychologist does, at least part of their job is to help guide their patients through those difficult situations where they're like, I don't like this person that I am. I don't like these automatic things that I'm doing. Like I find myself wasting a lot of time, like doom scrolling first thing in the morning. So how can we potentially, if changing habits is an act of will, and changing habits is very like demanding because these are things that we obviously do automatically. You don't have to think too much about it, and it's very comfortable to settle into these. How can we break out of that, and how can we make it in a sense like more comfortable? What do you think?
I love what you said about inertia. It's almost like the repetition of our behavior. Every time we do it, we're adding an extra tick of speed to this behavior that we're doing until eventually it gets to a point where we don't even have to keep our foot on the pedal anymore. That thing's just going. It's now habit driven behavior. You have no goal of doing it, you have no intention of doing it. The book even talks about how we don't even have like awareness sometimes. There's no conscious awareness of the habit, but the behavior gets done. And I think the inertia is a great way to uh, kind of imagine, because like we were saying in the previous episodes, it's very hard to measure habit. It's not a physical thing. We can't see it. We can't feel it, touch it, smell it, taste it. Maybe the behaviors we're doing are physical, but besides the point, if you could help our audience and help each other have any kind of physical rationale or understanding of what a habit is, I think inertia is one of the best ones. And as something with inertia, you need something, physics speaking, you definitely need to have something capable of stopping that moving object, or else it's just going to plow right through it. And in this case, the only thing that's capable of stopping the steam train that we've built through repetitions of behavior is our willpower. And it's almost like a protagonist in a movie. All the odds are stacked against you. Only thing that could stop this train is your willpower, and you only have a limited meter of it every day, and you only have so much of it. And eventually, it gets to a point where you don't even want to do it anymore because we'd rather have the comforts in our habits than stand up to the steam train and let it hurt because it hurts, to be able to fight back against the habits that you've built. And I would love to, I think, study more about willpower. It just sounds like such a fantastical thing. Willpower, the power of will. It's like, what is this? What are we talking about? Like, what is willpower? It's just your like stats on how much you could will something, and I think we all have experienced in our lives many tasks that demand willpower. And really, I think to me, it's just the ability to go against the odds, go against the comfort zone, and push yourself through the discomfort in order to attain the goal that you want to achieve. You have to have that willpower. I would love to find more studies discussing the psychology of willpower alone. because it's very clear that as we're studying habits here, which could be either amazing and work for you, or they could be bad habits and working against you, willpower is one of the only things that you can use to combat it. Um, so I would love to learn more about how to strengthen my stats and willpower. It's very interesting.
It's it reminds me a lot of, like, in so many video games, it's the endurance gauge essentially. It's like, okay, this is the meter that essentially goes down when I try and make moves. As I'm trying to make moves throughout life, I see this meter slowly start to go down, and I have less and less abilities to do what I want to do. So there is some evidence that does exist with regards to the discussion of how can I improve my willpower. And it kind of goes something like this. Okay. You reach that point of mental fatigue. And one of the best times to do this is at the end of the day, after you finish an entire like work day. Okay. So I've just finished essentially sitting. Let's say it's a really boring desk job. I've finished answering emails, getting phone calls, getting sales, doing all that sort of thing. And then I get home. You are toast usually after that. And like you might be able to squeeze in like a nice walk or something like that, but you don't really have much mental energy after that. It's like increasing the resistance. Like it's so funny. Almost everything in life you can apply to like the gym mentality. But you reach that point of fatigue and you push a little bit further. Okay? And you actually you can this is measurable. So I've hit that point at the end of my workday. I'm tired as crap. I don't feel like doing anything. You spend that same day when you've hit that point when you know that you're tired and you don't want to do anything else. You literally put it on a timer. You say, I'm going to spend 15 to 20 minutes today pushing into this zone of discomfort where I am mentally fatigued. I have zero willpower to do anything. This is how you increase your willpower. This is demonstrated. This is actually something that you can do. So you reach that point of mental fatigue and you push a little bit further and you measure it so you can actually gauge your improvement over time. So I say today I'm going to do 15, 20 minutes. Guess what? I'm going to try and repeat that the next day. Still doing 15 to 20 minutes. It's kind of like my 15 to 20 pound dumbbell. What am I going to do?
Resistance.
Yeah, exactly, man. Just a little low resistance there. And then what's going to happen? Let's say the following week, I'm going to increase that to 25 minutes. And I'm slowly going to find that this gets easier and I'm able to do it longer. And so, what are some examples of those things that we could do? Okay. Instead of you just going for a walk, let's say, well, for 25 minutes, you engage your mind in something that is very willpower intensive. That would be something like reading a book, because we know that reading books are more, it's a lower bandwidth. You essentially have to sit there and process every word versus being spoon-fed pixels on a screen. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to look at a screen and like just have the LEDs like bathe you and you just take in the sounds, and that's a way easier mode of getting information. So that's with regards to how can I improve my willpower. You treat it a lot like a resistance training program, like in the gym. It's just you're doing it for your mind. You're doing it for a greater long-term goal. Because ultimately, if you can improve your willpower, you're going to be a force of nature to be reckoned with. Because there is no point where you're going to get tired and you can't do those great things that you will have. Not what Socrates and Plato called the weakness of will. You'll have something so much stronger, dude. Amazing stuff, because you can do it.